everyone. Welcome to our interview series, You with Unicorn. Here we connect with people from different walks of life and understand more about their journey, what works for them, and what not. I am Vandana Teji, and I have with me today Mr. Johnny K. Joseph. Hello, Johnny.
Hi, Vandana.
Johnny is a human response coach who brings out the best in individuals through his expertise in executive and life coaching. He's an ICF certified coach and also a part of Coaches for You volunteer network. He is a postgraduate in business management and an NLP practitioner. He comes with over 3 decades of experience across sales, training, and human resources across sectors like pharmaceuticals, IT, BFSI, hospitality, consulting, and education. He has worked with esteemed organizations like NIIT, Aptech, ANZ, Grindlays Bank, Sterling Holiday Resorts, IBM, and many more. So, welcome, Johnny, once again. Welcome to You with Unicorn.
Thank you, Vandana, and thank you for having me on this wonderful show of yours.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So, Johnny, while I have I've already given a short brief about your profile. Could you share something a little more about your journey?
Well, it seems like a journey when I look back today, but when I actually was experiencing this, it didn't seem like a journey. It was more of an excitement for me. And the excitement was in the form of the pharmaceutical that you mentioned is where I started my career back in 1980. Actually, it is 40 years back. And I started as an admin assistant, which could be the lowest rung of any hierarchy in any organization, which is um, kind of an errand boy or man Friday in that organization. And I must say that really taught me a lot as to what I need to do as a playful boy. I was not even 20 years old at that time, and I was really very playful. Not to say that I'm any serious even now. I'm very, very playful. And I think that's why this seems like a wonderful experience for me as I journeyed through the last 40 years. It's been a great, fun-filled journey for me. Started as an admin assistant, and then um, once I got my graduation in commerce, I moved out of that pharmaceutical company and got into a, a sales job. You know, uh, which is which is what I discovered as I was working in this pharmaceutical company, that I would love talking to people, and then sales job was I thought was the right thing for me to have conversations with potential clients of the of a new startup that time called NIIT. Today it's a large international organization, and I was lucky to be one of those few double-digit employees across the company. And that's where I learned a lot of my lessons in how to have conversations, how to ask questions to get the clients interested in what you're trying to sell and stuff like that. And we were even sent to Suranj Kund, a place near Delhi, from all over the country for a 4-day training program. And I still remember those programs very vividly as I go through my journey in coaching now. Very similar to what we are learning in coaching. We were taught in those programs, the selling skills program, that selling is not telling. Selling is about listening and asking questions. And that's what coaching is as well. So I believe that my journey for the last 40 years, of which 10 years has been in sales, and I've had some wonderful wins in sales because of my love for conversations. And it never seemed like a huge challenge of meeting targets of sales. It just came in so effortlessly, I feel, because of my love for conversations with my potential clients. So that was my first 10 years. And then I moved into
Wow.
sales training and moved into sales training. That is that marked my beginning of the last 3 decades of my stint with learning and development. I think
That's
that's been my
amazing.
journey.
In fact, Johnny, there are a lot of similarities between my journey and your journey. When I started as an
Okay.
HR professional, one word which was used for me was fun-filled to describe. Fun-filled
Okay.
and frolic
Okay.
was
Right.
very oftenly used as an
Yes.
adjective to and to be very frank, 4 years back, I went to Surajkund for another training intervention. It's an amazing thing to know that way back in 80s you used to go to Surajkund for training.
1983 to be precise. Yes.
Oh my God, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice, and that's
Yeah.
an amazing journey. Wow.
Yes.
So, what made you shift from training? Because I think you have been, you said that the last 3 years, decades of your career have been into training, L&D. What made you move to coaching?
Right. So so when I got into training, I assumed the office of head of training and development of 24 by 7, and I began to realize that you can't train human beings. I mean, training is apt for circuses because you can train animals but not human beings. So I was very particular that rename my department or my team from training department to L&D team, learning and development. And therein lies my belief of what this whole process is. It's about learning and it's not about training. So there is a big difference, according to me. I truly believe that human beings cannot be trained.
Correct.
They can be facilitated into learning something, and then that journey was very fascinating for me, Vandana, to as you asked this question, because conversations make a lot of difference to me in terms of my paradigm shifts and my mindset shifts as I have conversations. And I realized this uh, through a lot of people with whom I had conversations, formal or informal. Because most of my formal interactions have been conversations in a training room, and there again I would have conversations, a lot of one-to-one conversations in the pantry, in the smoking area, in the lunchroom, in the corridor, in the cab that we used to share, and stuff like that. And what made me realize that these are worthwhile things to consider, because when I started getting wishes from people whom I used to have conversations in the last 40 years in my social network on a Guru Purnima or a Teacher's Day, saying, Johnny, that conversation we had years back was a turning point. And I wondered, what is Guru Purnima? Why are they wishing me on these? And then I figured that, conversations have made significant differences in people. And therefore, I am where I am today as a full-time coach.
Wow. Indeed, indeed. I totally agree with this. In fact, the style of wherein a person moves from training to learning, I
Mm.
think it adds a different dimension to the entire learning in its
Yes,
in totality. Because I still
right.
remember those teachers who used to ask me questions rather than telling the answers. I still remember
Absolutely.
those
That's right.
teachers, those professors, and no wonder
Right.
people have regarded you and thought of wishing you on Guru Purnima. That's
Yes.
so true.
Yes.
Coaching has
So that's
majorly
that's
this.
uh, that's a
Yeah.
fascinating thing about this whole coach.
Yes. Yes. Indeed. So, coaching has majorly been restricted to senior professionals, leaderships in organizations. Why are you? What are
Mm.
your views on this? That is it only for senior professionals? Because I, as a junior professional, have always thought that coaching is something which only seniors would be taking, or they can afford.
Yeah. So this was my belief when I was in the corporate up until 2011, and I was sitting on the other side of the fence and evaluating external executive coaches for high potentials in, let's say, when I was in IBM or when I was in ANZ banking group, to see how we can leverage the high potential talent that we have to make them into global talents. And therefore, I never questioned that practice, and I fell into this trap of being in the role and trying to get, executive coaches. Well, yes, it does help. However, my personal view on this, and this is purely my personal view, is that yes, we need to invest in people who are at the advanced stage of their career to develop them into global leaders, and very soon they will retire from their formal working. And this coaching definitely will help them to look at their retirement from a different lens. So there is no issue on that. However, what I believe is that coaching needs to reach at a far, far earlier stage in a human being's life. I would even go to the extent of saying that it should be at the stage of the universities when they are deciding on what they want to do, and therefore what courses they need to choose. So I think recently we had some webinars in ICF. ICF is International Coaching Federation. We were talking about how we can get our university youngsters, the millennials, to experience coaching in a manner in which will help them to sort of understand and therefore decide which course to take in a university, because they want to do something X, Y, or Z in their career. But if you look at the education system today, we have a lot of engineers, we have a lot of chartered accountants, we have a lot of doctors, and then they decide, now what do I do? I've met in my coaching last 1 year of my ICF journey, I've met a lot of doctors who are now getting into pure coaching and leaving their medical profession. I've met a lot of chartered accountants. I've met a lot of IT engineers and specialists who want to get into coaching. I think there is something which is there's a telling tale that is telling us about all this as it unfolds, and also thanks to the pandemic, that things are coming out in an unfolding manner to tell us that yes, coaching needs to reach much younger levels of people, and that's when I think we can leverage the power of coaching. I believe that.
Wow, that's so powerful, Johnny. And the one question that comes to our mind is that how do you simplify the meaning of coaching to a student, say in class 10th?
Um, it's a very good question, Vandana, I must say that. Um, so I've never thought of simplifying coaching to a class 10 uh, till you asked me this question. And you make me think really in this moment. So if there is a class 10 student who is in front of me, I would really ask the student, what do you really want from life? And and towards that, how is this class 10 helping you? That's where
I am answering these questions of my nephew, hence I'm asking this question to you.
right, right. So because I think I'm lucky in a sense that I failed in my pre-university, therefore no pressure on me to go through a certain vocational education. So I found myself, but I was just imagining, uh, if I had cleared my pre-university and if I had not failed, what would have happened to my future? I can't even think, because I would have succumbed to the societal pressures of what should I do as a course, and therefore what should I become? And here I am. I just evolved as I enjoyed life in the last 40 years.
Wow. Great, great. Johnny, there has been a lot of talk on mental wellness in the past few years. I know I'm taking you away from coaching, but coaching has been closely associated with mental wellness and well being. You know, can you talk a little more about it? How can coaching help in mental wellness?
See, all of us are seeking wellness outside of us. I think if we just have to pause and look inside, the well is inside. We just have to go into the well for the wellness to come out. And it's so ironical that everybody, the whole world is going out to find wellness when they just can discover it inside of them. So the wellness is, I think, our default state.
Yes, guess so. But I think the more and more we learn, the more and we the knowledge. Sometimes I feel that knowledge is scary also.
Yeah, it is. And as a coach, when I get into the coaching conversational space, I am so scared of my knowledge, especially because I believe I've got some knowledge in the last 40 years. I just have to drop that bag, the backpack outside the coaching space, like how you enter a room with your chappals outside. I leave my knowledge outside.
Wow, wow. So you as a coach will help us look inside that well.
Yes. So coming back to the wellness, I think we are all blessed with wellness, and that's the only thing that we came into this world with, and we've covered it with a lot of distractions, if I may use that term, of all the rat races and dog eat dog kind of situations that we are going through in our daily lives, especially in the competitive world that we are in. I think we've forgotten that we are full of that. The well is full of that wellness within us,
Wow.
and we go out and pay dollars to buy it from outside.
I'm so much enjoying this conversation. I don't want this to end. Uh, so Johnny,
You can
but
sign up for a coaching conversation if you want to.
I'm gonna do that. I'm
Yes,
gonna do that.
yes,
But
yeah,
Johnny,
yeah.
so thank you so much for giving us time. But before you go, any message that you would like to share with our viewers, like on coaching, on mental wellness, any?
About
Mm.
coaching. Yeah. So the message I would like to leave with anybody and everybody who's listening or watching this at any point in time is to um, not to wait for somebody to pat you on the back and say, hey, you become eligible for a coaching conversation. Just have a conversation with anybody. I think conversation has an intrinsic power to bring out the best in the people who are involved in conversation. So I will be fooling myself and the whole world to say that only people like us who are certified ICF coaches can coach. Anybody who has the ability to have a conversation. Coaching is nothing but conversational mastery. And if you have the ability to listen, God has given us 2 ears and one mouth, a constant reminder that we use them in the same proportion. And if we can listen to somebody with whom we are having a conversation, I think conversation has the intrinsic power to bring out the best in whoever is involved in conversation. So my what I would leave as a thought is to, whenever you have the ability to have a conversation or an opportunity to have a conversation, do so without any judgment of each other, without any prejudices or biases. Be open to anything and everything that emerges, and that doesn't limit to have conversation only with another person. You can also have this conversation unto your own self, and that also makes a huge difference in the life. At least I have experienced that, and I've known a lot of others who have experienced that. So that's one
Wow.
thought I would like to leave.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful. Yes. And for that purpose, God has given us one mouth and 2 ears to
Yes,
listen and to understand. Sometimes listening to someone without prejudices, without judgment can be like the best blessing if you
right.
have that power.
So when I feel that 2 years are not sufficient for me to listen to somebody who's communicating with me, I also listen with my eyes. with my whole body. I listen to the other person. And Bandana, you must experience it to believe what I'm saying. It is such a wonderful moment. The conversational mastery, or the conversational magic, as I would like to call it, it's fascinating to experience.
I'm all excited to do that now. So on that note, I would, because we want to keep it a little short. So bye
Sure.
everyone, and thank you, Johnny, once again, and see you soon with our next guest and more insights to know more about the unicorn people, Mr. Johnny Joseph. Click on the links in the description box. Do like, comment, and share this video. Also, do not forget to subscribe our channel to receive notification. Till then, take care. Goodbye.
Thank you.